Today I'm going to be working on um, this monitor chassis that I've got going on. It's for my Neo Geo arcade machine. Um, so I've got this capacitor map that I got off the internet, and I ordered a capacitor kit. So I'm going to replace all of these capacitors in the circles. And so the first thing I need to do is start removing the capacitors from the board. So I'm going to do that first, and then start replacing them on there. And the issue that's going on with this is the fuse keeps blowing. And after doing some research, I found that I needed to replace the horizontal output transistor. And so I ordered one. And then the other thing was that it might be the flyback. And since the flyback was cracking, this is supposed to be like a rubber, and it was cracking really bad. I went ahead and got one of those as well, and all the capacitors needed to replace everything. So I'm going to start with, I guess this part. This is called the neck board, and there's a capacitor on here that I'm going to replace. So I'm going to start by desoldering that, and then go through and desolder all of the other electrolytic capacitors, which are these ones with the the barrel shaped ones here. So I'm going to get started on that. I've got to wait for my desoldering station to warm up. So it may take a few minutes to do that. Okay, so it looks like the station is warmed up well enough. So I've gone through and already kind of checked the capacitors. They always recommend that you go through and check your capacitors before you try to use them, because you never know if there could be a damaged one, even that you have gotten from your manufacturer. So I just use a multimeter. There's a lot of guides on the internet about how to do that, how to check it. So I just kind of tested them to make sure that everything was good. And got my desoldering station here. I need to clean the tip good, so that make sure that it makes good contact with everything. Usually like to put a little bit of solder on the end, so that when I'm warming up the capacitor, or the the solder on it, that it melts real well. So I'm just going to heat this up. Usually like to kind of go in a little circle till it warms up. Feels pretty loose. So I'm going to go ahead and pop this one out. Usually what I do is kind of pop them. You hear it kind of snap just a little bit. It's loose. It's coming out. Okay, so this one's out. It went in here this direction, so as you can see, the negative side is over this way, because you can see where the stripe is. So this side is negative on this side. Usually on these, the longer one is positive and the shorter one's negative, and they have a stripe. So I'm just going to go ahead and place this in here. Just kind of bend the leads for right now. I'm not going to solder it in. I just want to make sure that it goes in where it's supposed to be and doesn't get lost. So all the rest of them I can go ahead and just take out. So I'm just going to start removing all the caps here. So I didn't really talk about what's going on with this project or where this came from or anything. So what happened was I was looking online and I found an old Neo Geo arcade machine, and it was a pretty good price. So I bid on it on eBay, and I won it. I had to go drive down to Houston. I live in the DFW area. So I drove down to Houston to go pick it up and brought it back, and I got it for a really good price. And I found out why, and that was because there was a lot of things wrong with it. There's a lot of broken things on it. So I'm trying to just get the screen working first to try to at least see if everything else is working, everything else is functional. But until I get the screen working, then I can't really tell what's going on with the game and whatnot. So I've been kind of diagnosing this whole monitor thing for a few weeks now, trying to decide what I'm going to do to try to fix it. And after looking online and messing around with it, I found that I might as well just go ahead and get all new capacitors for it and anything else that it needs, because if I were to buy one of the monitors brand new, it's probably going to be $500 or $600 or something like that. And I didn't even pay that for the whole machine. So just trying to see if I can get it fixed in the least expensive way possible that's actually going to be good. So I thought I got everything that I needed when I got the full cap kit, and I got the horizontal output transistor. So hopefully these are the last pieces that I have to order to get everything up and running, but we'll see. If I have to do some more work on it, then whatever it takes, we'll get it going. So patience is key. Okay, so that is all of the caps removed. There's some damage on the board, specifically right here. It's pretty bad. So I'm probably going to have to rig this up like it was and retest it and make sure that there's no shorts or anything. But you can see that somebody burned it pretty good when they had it. And hopefully I'll be able to repair it and it'll still function properly. There's only one cap that the kit didn't come with, and it's this one right here. So I might have to just go find one of those somewhere and just replace it by purchasing it separately. I'm going to start soldering the caps back on now. Start with the neck board here. think I would like to do the repair on this one first. So this is the most difficult part. So I'm going to go ahead and do that one. I think that's 57. So here it is. The next 15 minutes or so are just me putting all the caps back on and getting everything buttoned up, checking everything, testing it, making sure that I don't have any shorts anywhere, making sure everything's put back together properly. So if you want to skip ahead about 15 minutes, you can, or you can just watch it. Some people like to watch stuff like this, so go right ahead. Okay, that's it. So I guess we'll go test it out and we'll see if it's working. Last time it wouldn't even turn on, just kept popping fuses, so we'll just see what happens. Just doing a quick update. So I did test it, and what happened was it didn't pop the fuses anymore, which is good. It actually turned, the degaussing coil came on. Like, when you turn on an old TV or monitor, it makes that noise when it first starts up, which is the first time it's ever done that. So that's good. So it didn't pop any fuses, didn't burn anything. The degaussing coil worked. Still didn't turn on. So I was doing some research online about it, and turns out there's a chip, an integrated circuit right here, this one. And they're saying that possibly that's bad, because this is what regulates the voltage to turn the CRT on. And if it's too high, then there's a circuit on here that shuts everything down. It won't let it turn on. So I tested right here, and it's saying that this should be like 123 volts or something. And I was getting like 145. So that's too high. And so if I replace this, and I've already ordered the part, so I'll do an update whenever I get that ordered and get it in, and replace this piece. Whenever I get that piece in, then we'll test it out again and see how it goes. So hopefully that'll fix it. But until then, I'll just make another video next time, and we'll see if we can get it going.